I think the WNBA narrative right now is Caitlin Clark, and I think that's a good narrative, but it's also not the only narrative. But that's the narrative we're pushing in the media. Caitlin is an amazing generational talent, and she's going to do amazing things. You're the #1 pick. People are going to go after you, whether it's for the right or wrong reasons because they see greatness in you. What the WNBA is measuring one type of greatness against the other greatness. Am I saying it's right that she's being pushed in the back? No, that's foul. That has no space in the sport, and we all know that. When I'm watching ESPN and the only highlight you can see is how hard she gets screened, I think it takes away from the actual point of basketball.
The game, right?
I think that's a problem about our narrative right now, that we're not using the wave of women's basketball and women's empowerment that
Caitlin Clark and the complex narrative of women's basketball. The current narrative in the WNBA undeniably centers around Caitlin Clark, and while this is an exciting and compelling storyline, it also overshadows other stories that deserve equal attention. Clark is a generational talent, the first overall pick, and a player who is destined for greatness. But her meteoric rise has sparked debates about the league's priorities, and the consequences of focusing so much on one player. The narrative of greatness and its discontents. While the media has embraced Clark as the face of the future, many argue that the WNBA is currently measuring one type of greatness, Clark's, against others. Though there is no denying her skill, the overemphasis on her achievements comes at the expense of the diversity of talent across the league. The spotlight on her.
When I was driving to the game today, obviously it's annoying because there were way too many Caitlin fans and I heard but like it just kudos because it's amazing to see so many people in women's basketball jerseys. It's amazing to see the excitement and the joy that comes out of that. So although I feel like our Dallas fans could have done better, I had mixed feelings obviously seeing all the Caitlin jerseys in our home, but it's an amazing sign for women's basketball, and it's just great how far we've come. It's just fun. It's good. It's a good thing.
But the question arises, is it at the cost of fair representation for other players? As Sabally notes, the spotlight placed on Caitlin Clark, while well-earned, comes with its own set of challenges. When her highlights focus not on her basketball brilliance but on how hard she's being screened, it detracts from the game itself. This creates a skewed narrative that can sideline the broader accomplishments of other athletes in the league. Sabally critiques how the WNBA and media coverage often become obsessed with one storyline, overlooking the collective talent and stories of so many other remarkable players. The Sabally moment, more than just words. It only took one viral moment to spark a storm of conversations about Clark, Sabally, and the direction of women's basketball. In a casual exchange, Sabally made a simple yet
This or that with Satou Sabally.
Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese?
Angel.
Angel Reese or Angel?
a wave of controversy and excitement. As an all-star forward for the Dallas Wings, Sabally's words carried significant weight, and her comments quickly transformed into a larger conversation about privilege, legacy, and the dynamics that drive the WNBA's media narratives. The divisiveness of the debate. Sabally's remarks were subtle but provocative. They tapped into deeper questions about the WNBA's future: who deserves the media spotlight? Who controls the narrative in a league that's striving for visibility, respect, and equality? Clark has become a symbol of progress, a beacon for the future of women's basketball. But as she rises, she also divides opinions. Some fans celebrate her presence, while others worry that her ascent risks overshadowing the achievements of established stars and other emerging talents. This controversy has created a divide, not just among fans, but also players and analysts. Some feel that Sabally's comments reflect a necessary critique of the disproportionate attention given to one player at the expense of others. Meanwhile, defenders of Clark argue that her success is precisely what the league needs to draw in new fans.
Like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP of the WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning. So if you're a WNBA player.
Sport. A changing landscape for women's basketball. In this moment of transformation, one thing is clear: the conversation about Caitlin Clark is bigger than just one player. It's about the future of the WNBA, its media coverage, and the ongoing struggle for equality and recognition in women's sports. Sabally's comments forced the conversation into the open, urging everyone, fans, players, analysts, to grapple with the deeper issues that shape the league's direction. Her words weren't just about Caitlin Clark, they were about the very structure of the WNBA, the way its stars are positioned, and the way women's sports are consumed by the media and public. As the debate rages on, one thing remains certain: this is an exciting time for women's basketball. The wave of attention brought on by Clark's arrival is an opportunity to elevate the entire league, but it also requires careful navigation to ensure that all players have a fair chance to shine. The WNBA's future, a delicate balance. As fans, analysts, and players alike continue to discuss the implications of Sabally's comments, the key question remains: how can the WNBA balance the rise of individual superstars with the need to foster a culture of inclusivity and equality? The league stands at a crossroads, with a unique opportunity to shape its own narrative and pave the way for the next generation of athletes, where every player's contribution is valued and celebrated. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, a league-wide debate unfolds. In what seemed like a playful rapid-fire Q&A, Satou Sabally chose Angel Reese over Caitlin Clark when prompted. While the setting
and will be great in the WNBA, but this is a moment where you'll look back and go, God, I remember that. Although I did think as soon as she hit the hoop, Kelsey Plum was the all-time leading scorer. Played at Washington, plays in the WNBA with Las Vegas. And I thought, she didn't.
Sabally's choice sparked immediate reactions, igniting debates about representation, respect, and the dynamics within women's basketball. The timing of Sabally's comment was particularly significant. The Indiana Fever had just unveiled their ambitious strategy to build their team around Clark, positioning her as the centerpiece of their franchise revival. This decision not only emphasized Clark.
Do your job, get down, can make a play underneath the basket to have those extra.
Sabally left alone.
Role as a potential game-changer for the WNBA. Yet Sabally's seemingly lighthearted response hinted at underlying tensions. Fans and analysts quickly dissected her choice, transforming a simple moment into a broader discussion about privilege, media narratives, and equity in the league. A polarizing figure. Caitlin Clark's rise has been meteoric. Following a record-breaking college career, she has been hailed as a generational talent capable of reshaping women's basketball. Her arrival in the WNBA has attracted unprecedented attention, drawing new fans and sparking increased media coverage. However, this spotlight has also raised concerns. Some critics argue that
that opens up, free cutters for some easy passes or dump offs. I mean, our posts are phenomenal in there, so it's only smart to, pass it inside and give them the ball, and they do the rest. So I'm just grateful for a great team, and if we move around, then obviously other numbers increase.
Of other established stars in the league. Sabally's comment, whether intentional or not, resonated with this sentiment, fueling debates about fairness and representation. A divided response. Social media exploded following Sabally's remark. Supporters of Clark viewed the comment as an unnecessary slight, while critics interpreted it as a pointed critique of the disproportionate attention Clark has received. The discourse quickly evolved.
Yeah, I think it's important. These are games you really need to win at home, and the more we can win, the better we can position ourselves for the playoffs. So, and also we're just a competitive group of individuals. Like, nobody wants to lose. That's not fun, especially in front of these fans. So a lot of them, they only get to see the Fever play one time. They spend a lot of money to come here and watch us and have fun with us. So, you want to kind of give them a show every single time we're in here. And honestly, it's a lot of fun. So don't take that for granted, because before we know it, the season will be over. And I think this team is just trying to go one game at a time. But to get the homestand started off on the right note, I think was super important, and it's just continuing to go one step at a time and continue to build that confidence. But I feel like we're playing really good inside this building, so it's just continuing to build on that.
Beyond basketball, touching on deeper issues of privilege and media bias. Critics of Clark highlighted how her massive following and high expectations sometimes alienate other players. Defenders of Clark emphasized her undeniable talent and the excitement she has brought to the WNBA. The result was a cultural conversation that transcended sports, drawing attention to the league's ongoing efforts to balance individual brilliance with team recognition. The Fever's gamble. For the Fever, the stakes are clear. Building a franchise around Clark is both a bold strategy and a significant risk. While her talent is undeniable, the intense focus on her may alienate teammates or create discord within the team. Sabally's remarks have amplified these concerns, raising questions about how the Fever can foster a team-oriented culture while maximizing Clark's potential. Media's role in the narrative. This situation also highlights the media's influence in shaping public perception. Clark's emergence has been accompanied by narratives positioning her as the savior of the WNBA. While these narratives have increased visibility for the league, they have also contributed to divisions among fans and players. Sabally's critique underscores the importance of a more
cover of women's basketball on the college level, on the professional level, and for many years, you guys said you wanted some more attention. Well, how do you like it now?
This is like finally having like a home and a backyard big enough to entertain more people. And then the new people that show up to the party show up with pitchforks, and you're like, ooh, never mind, this was bad. I should have curated this list a little better. The second that you show love to anybody not named Caitlin Clark, you are part of, some constituency that's trying to keep her contributions at a minimum, and you're racist, and we get a lot of that. It's no wonder that the W coverage is all Black women, because you're all in it together to try to keep her down. It's just, you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if...
Celebrates a diverse range of talents and experiences. A moment for reflection. As the WNBA navigates this pivotal moment, the broader implications are clear. This is not just about Caitlin Clark, Satou Sabally, or Angel Reese, it's about the future of women's basketball and the narratives that define it. Will the Fever's gamble on Clark pay off? Can the league strike a balance between promoting star players and recognizing the contributions of all its athletes? These questions will shape not only the immediate future of the WNBA but also its legacy as a beacon of equity and opportunity in sports. Join the conversation, and let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest in WNBA drama, strategy.
A lot of the feedback I've gotten is okay, this makes more sense. This puts more context around the narrative. I think there's been some other really good pieces. Sarah Spain's podcast with Christine Brennan. I thought Sarah did a great job of trying to nail down someone who refused to answer a question, basically. Lots of people have spoken on it. I think the narratives still exist and are still happening, and you're going to touch on the viewership points, but hopefully people are starting to understand what's happening, and the fact that journalists do have choices and the media has choices on what...
WNBA has ignited discussions far beyond the court, touching on issues of identity, privilege, and representation within women's basketball. While her incredible talent and marketability have made her the focal point of the Indiana Fever's future, recent comments from Satou Sabally have introduced a layer of complexity to this narrative, challenging both the league's dynamics and broader cultural perceptions. Sabally, known for her
They have not been able to... Question is, who's going to play deep time for Dallas?
The wings needed it.
Here is Satou from about 8. Enrique's got to give it up. Satou for 3.
No, besides everything. Because her game is...
Craig gives her some room. Satou did what they did. Satou launches.
Questioned why certain players receive disproportionate media attention and endorsement opportunities. Her remarks, which openly supported Angel Reese over Clark, were more than a critique of basketball dynamics. They were a call to examine the systemic factors that elevate some athletes while sidelining others. This perspective has sparked widespread debate among fans and analysts, with some applauding Sabally's honesty and others questioning the necessity of her critique. For the Indiana Fever, the stakes have never been higher. Their decision to center the franchise around Clark is a bold gamble, one designed to revive the team's competitiveness and attract fans. Marketing campaigns, roster changes, and promotional efforts all point to Clark as the franchise's cornerstone. Yet, Sabally's comments have raised critical questions. Is the Fever's all-in strategy potentially alienating other players? Could this focus on Clark unintentionally overshadow the contributions of her teammates? Clark's meteoric rise represents a shift in women's basketball, but it also underscores the tensions that often accompany such shifts. While her arrival has drawn unprecedented attention to the Fever and the league as a whole, it has also highlighted the challenges of balancing star power with team cohesion. This dynamic is not unique to women's basketball but feels especially pronounced in the WNBA, where the league is still carving out its identity within the broader sports landscape. Sabally's critique of the structures that shape narratives and priorities within the league forces a reckoning not only for the Fever but for the WNBA at large. Amid these tensions, the Fever's management faces a crucial test. Can they build a team culture that leverages Clark's star potential while fostering unity and equity among players? Or will their reliance on a singular narrative create division and limit the franchise's long-term success? The controversy also underscores the media's role in shaping public perceptions. From the moment Clark declared for the draft, she was positioned as a transformative figure for the league. This narrative, while inspiring, carries risks of overshadowing other talents and creating undue pressure on Clark herself. Sabally's remarks challenge this media-driven story, prompting a re-evaluation of who gets celebrated and why. As the WNBA navigates this pivotal moment, the outcomes will resonate beyond the fever, influencing the league's broader approach to equity, representation, and the delicate balance between individual brilliance and collective progress. How the Fever, Clark, and Sabally respond will shape not only their futures but also the narrative of women's basketball for years to come. Satou Sabally's remarks have forced the Indiana Fever's management to confront a harsh reality. Their all-in strategy around Caitlin Clark might alienate potential teammates or sow discord within the team. The stakes for the Fever are extraordinarily high. Mishandling this controversy could jeopardize not only their championship aspirations but also their reputation as a franchise. Although Sabally's comments appeared directed at Clark, the repercussions extend far beyond a single player. From the moment Clark declared her intention to enter the WNBA draft, she has been heralded as a transformative figure, a title that brings both immense praise and a crushing weight of expectations. Sabally's critique subtly challenges this narrative, suggesting that the league's intense focus on Clark risks overshadowing its other stars. This tension reveals a long-standing dilemma for the WNBA: how to balance the promotion of marquee players like Clark while ensuring that the league's diverse pool of talent receives fair recognition. The media, too, plays a critical role in shaping this narrative. From the outset, Clark has been positioned as the savior of the WNBA, a label that generates admiration from some and resentment from others. Media coverage has intensified these dynamics, with some fans questioning whether the spotlight on Clark fosters unnecessary divisions within the league. Sabally's critique adds another layer to this debate, calling attention to systemic issues.
Off the mark on a three. Sabally takes
public perception. Social media, particularly WNBA Twitter, has turned this controversy into a wildfire of opinions, memes, and heated debates. While some fans applaud Sabally for her courage and honesty, others accuse her of attempting to undermine Clark. This digital fervor reflects not just the passion of the WNBA's fan base but also the high stakes of the league's evolving identity. The Fever now face a crucial moment. Can they harness the energy of this controversy to build a cohesive team culture? Or will the focus on Clark overshadow their broader goals and alienate players who fear being sidelined? The unfolding drama has implications beyond the Fever. It highlights the broader challenges of growing the WNBA while maintaining inclusivity and equity. Success will depend on thoughtful decisions from the league, its teams, and the media alike, decisions that must prioritize progress over division. Ultimately, this moment underscores the delicate balance between star power.
Back-to-back win of this season, how does it feel and how does it feel to do that in front of the home crowd?
It feels great. The energy was great. We shared the wealth. Everyone got a feel for it, and we looked really good.
Your offense was flowing and firing really on all cylinders, especially in that second half. What was clicking for you guys?
Ball screen action work, finishing around the rim, being able to knock down that outside shot.
And then your last two wins have really been fourth quarter wins. What do you like about the grit your team is showing and the energy you're bringing?
Being able to close out games, that's important, especially in this league, and so we've been able to show that the past two games.
In a league that is still defining its place in the broader sports landscape. How the Fever, Clark, and Sabally navigate this pivotal juncture will shape not only their futures but also the narrative of the WNBA itself. Satou Sabally's recent comments have sparked a divisive dialogue, with some praising her candidness and others accusing her of undermining a fellow competitor. The fervor of online reactions underscores the high stakes involved in this conversation. In today's world, where every statement is scrutinized and magnified, athletes like Sabally and Caitlin Clark face relentless public judgment. This dynamic has increased the visibility of the WNBA, but it has also subjected its players to unprecedented levels of examination. The lingering question is whether social media amplifies these disputes in a constructive or harmful way. For the league, much depends on how it...
A slower pace with Elena Deladon and Shakira. They were already adapting to having Sykes, who's a downhill productivity that I'm talking about.
To the ball. Can it transform controversy into progress, or will it deepen divisions? Free agency looms large over this conversation, adding another layer of complexity. Sabally's remarks come at a time when players, agents, and teams are making critical decisions. For the Indiana Fever, this situation transcends Caitlin Clark's individual story. It touches on broader concerns about team culture and how Clark's growing spotlight might impact their ability to attract and retain talent. The Fever have faced challenges maintaining competitiveness in recent years, and Clark's arrival has brought both hope and skepticism. While fans see her as a transformative figure, some potential teammates may question whether they'll be overshadowed in a system centered around one star. Sabally's critique could serve as a cautionary note, warning that an overemphasis on Clark might stifle the contributions of others. On the other hand, Clark's defenders argue that she is exactly what the Fever need, a bold identity and a central figure to rally around. For free agents seeking a platform to shine, Indiana might appear.
Black people actually have to live through all these experiences that you're tired of about hearing. So if you're tired about seeing all these things on your feed, on your Instagram feed or whatever you follow, just imagine how Black people feel by speaking up for centuries, by working, demonstrating everything, speaking up the whole time. They're tired. We're tired of having to speak up every time, having to say the same things over and over.
This unfolding drama highlights the high-stakes nature of WNBA free agency, where even a single comment can sway decisions in unexpected ways. It also underscores the delicate balance between media representation and player recognition, emphasizing the need for thoughtful discourse within the league. As the Fever navigate this pivotal moment, the challenge will be to channel the energy of these controversies into a unified vision for the team. Success will depend on their ability to balance individual brilliance with collective growth, creating an environment where all players can thrive. In a league defined by its dynamic stories and evolving identity, the outcome of this situation could shape not only the Fever's future but also the broader narrative of the WNBA. Satou Sabally's remarks have sparked
possessions in that game. Working on McCowan and to Zarike. Gives it up, Southpaw.
In this league, rightfully so, because against each other, and when you look at the previous games,
a Fever cannot ignore. The franchise, heavily invested in what it calls the Caitlin Clark era, now faces intense scrutiny. How the team handles the fallout from Sabally's critique will influence not only their immediate prospects but also their long-term standing within the WNBA. Publicly, the Fever have demonstrated unwavering support for Clark.
Howard.
Mitchell, three-pointer made. Every field goal gets her first field goal of the afternoon.
What reasons, but the joy in the locker room is there.
Showcasing their belief in her talent and leadership. Yet behind the scenes, the organization must tread carefully. Maintaining a cohesive team dynamic in a high-stakes environment where personal relationships deeply impact performance is no small task. Sabally's comments bring up critical questions for the franchise. Is the team doing enough to foster a collective culture, or are they risking everything by putting too much emphasis on a single player? The next few months will be pivotal for the Fever's front office. Every move, whether it involves player signings, trades, or public messaging, will carry significant weight. If the team can build a balanced roster that supports Clark while addressing concerns raised by
gets it into Boston. Boston turns the corner. Boston through the Thomas the rebound, and she is fouled with 5.1 to go.
Really well designed play though. The fake handoff, you know Boston go. She gets a good look at the basket, just can't get it to fall, and after she misses, it's okay, does this with her hands.
Emerge stronger than ever. Conversely, failure to strike that balance could turn their efforts into a cautionary tale about relying too heavily on one star player. As free agency unfolds, the Fever's strategies and decisions will be closely scrutinized. In a league where the balance between individual brilliance and team dynamics is critical, the Fever must prove they can unite their roster and build for sustained success. Adding an intriguing layer to this narrative is the hypothetical pairing of Sabally and Clark. Though there are currently no plans for such a collaboration, the idea has ignited debates among fans and analysts. On paper, their skills could complement each other perfectly, Sabally's defensive versatility and adaptability meshing seamlessly with Clark's sharpshooting and playmaking. Together, they could form one of the most dynamic duos in WNBA.
The season, and how did it feel just being back out there? I mean, just being immediately impactful, being out there on the floor. I can just tell the difference of what you've been out and then what you've been back in. So what is your realistic expectations for the rest of the season? And also, how do you plan on build on today?
Yeah, first of all, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I would say just taking it game by game. I think we need to find our groundwork again and setting the standard high for ourselves and playing for ourselves more than whoever is in front of us. I think we need to find our identity and play to that because we're so talented and so good that we can win all the next games that are ahead of us. But just taking it game by game and really appreciating the game. I mean,
obviously when you're out for a while, you have a different perspective on it, but just giving your all every single possession and just.
Can two athletes with differing personalities and perspectives find common ground? While some see Sabally's critiques as an opportunity for mutual growth and understanding, others believe their differences may be too substantial to overcome. Regardless of whether this potential collaboration becomes reality, the conversation reflects the evolving nature of the WNBA. It's a league that thrives on its players' individuality and their collective that makes stories like this so compelling. As the Fever navigate this complex landscape, one thing is clear: their response to this moment will shape not just their future but also the broader narrative of the league itself. The WNBA finds itself at a pivotal moment as reactions to Satou Sabally's comments reveal the league's complexities. Players, coaches, and executives have responded in varied ways, reflecting the league's diverse perspectives and challenges. Some players have openly supported Sabally, applauding her bravery in addressing difficult truths. Others have taken a more measured approach, emphasizing the need for unity in a league already navigating numerous external pressures. Coaches and executives, mindful of the long-term implications, have tread carefully, recognizing the delicate balance between fostering honest dialogue and maintaining cohesion. Privately, many within the league resonate with Sabally's concerns. While they admire Caitlin Clark's undeniable talent, they worry that the media's focus on her risks overshadowing the broader diversity and richness of the league's stories. Sabally's remarks underscore not just issues of representation but the systems that dictate who gets celebrated and why. This controversy goes beyond the basketball court, tapping into societal discussions about privilege, representation, and the narratives we choose to highlight. For fans, it's a reflection of larger cultural tensions. Clark's rise is often framed as a testament to hard work and talent. Yet, Sabally's critique challenges us to consider whose stories are being amplified and whose are overlooked.